welcome to the ID Talk podcast. My name is Peter Counter, and I am the editor-in-chief of FindBiometrics, the internet's leading source for biometrics news, interviews, and thought leadership. On this episode of ID Talk, I am pleased to present my recent conversation with Dato Kavazi, co-founder of the innovative biometric blockchain company Humanode. Our interview begins with an overview of Humanode and how it solves the problem of Sybil attacks, before digging into the way that biometrics and liveness detection factor into its system. We go on to recap the recently concluded Humanode conference, which set the stage for the Hack the Sybil Hackathon currently underway, with over $30,000 in prizes up for grabs. This is part one of a two-part series, so be sure to come back later this month when Dato and I reconvene to break down the results of the hackathon. For now, though, let's just get straight to the interview. Here is my conversation with Dato Kavazi, co-founder of Humanode, right here on ID Talk. I am joined now by Dato Kavazi, co-founder of Humanode. Dato, thank you so much for joining me today on ID Talk.
Thank you for having me, Peter. It's wonderful to be here and spread some interesting thought around.
Here. Well, let's start off with an introduction then. Humanode, I think, is a fantastic combination of blockchain, liveness, and biometrics, which is why we're happy to have you here on the podcast. I think you enable some potentially groundbreaking government applications in particular. So my first question is, what is the background of Humanode, and what do you hope to achieve?
Peter, the problem that Humanode is trying to solve has been around for quite a long time. Sybil resistance of the internet, and I don't know if I should explain what Sybil resistance is to biometric listeners here.
Yeah, I think it's maybe worth a little bit of a review. I mean, in general, overall, it's the problem of having a single user make multiple accounts or instances in which to influence.
Yeah, well, I would more commonly say this like any kind of adversary gaining any kind of benefits in a rating system by spawning multiple bot accounts. So yeah, if we understand it from this, common perspective, then we could talk a lot of different kinds of Sybil attacks that exist. And we're not only talking about like identity, right? We're also talking about like other methods of authentication, such as like ordinary through login and password, and the ways people try to attack the rating systems of the different services out there. You can take into consideration any social media. So Sybil resistance was a major issue for a long time, since the 80s actually, when even for centralized and decentralized systems. And the problem was pretty clear. If you want to have a decentralized system that needs to somehow cooperate and update itself and not just play by the rules that already exists, you need a governance tool. Because a governing tool is the way you actually communicate. It's like you can create a decentralized system and use it, but the change, the updates necessary, research and development cannot be coordinated without a governing tool. And this is where problem arises, really. And people were trying to solve it for a long time. Basically, the whole point of blockchain is Sybil resistance based on mining equipment or money directly, which is basically proof of work and proof of stake systems. And I don't know, like whether our listeners know this, but like we have a research institute named Paradigm. My co-founder at Humanode, Victor, and I established this research foundation and like 7-8 years ago, and we were like following different technologies out there. And the problem resistance was coming around because there are also other parties in the market, and of course on other technological fields which try to solve this problem many different ways. Like biometrics are, of course, the approach that we are taking, but there were many other approaches such as social vouching, machine learning, trying to distinguish bots and people, etc. Actually, like machine learning in a different way, not through like a biometric one, based on relations between those people and digital info and metadata that goes around the network. There are many approaches. So Humanode was born on the idea that liveness detection that already exists and has gone through a very long period of evolution and precision growth. We can use it in a private and decentralized way to create a network, not justifiably like financial one, but a verification network, like a layer of verification based on human existence and uniqueness, which is supported by biometrics in a private and decentralized way. So here I managed to tell you how we came to this idea and, well, what path we have taken and why.
And can you tell me a little bit more about how biometrics fit into the Humanode equation?
So talking about biometrics, I cannot mention our biggest partners, FaceTech, which are purely responsible for the network, like neural network that delivers the precision of search and matching operations and liveness detection. And those guys have done so much for biometric market and biometric research and even scientific field in terms of biometric authentication as no one had, because, well, they've done a very big precision leap, a tremendous one even compared to what was around like 5-6 years ago. And you see in biometric search and matching operations and liveness detection, precision is a very important point. Like you have a false acceptance rate. It's like how many times per number of attempts your system might fail for numerous reasons. And well, even 5-6 years ago, the precision just was not there to even think about creating a properly decentralized network, as not a lot of people would be able to participate in it and authenticate itself, so that the probability of spoofing an identity was low. But I guess to understand this sentence, we have to delve into other details. But yes, FaceTech is the one providing the neural network model that does search and matching operations. And what we do in Humanode is like we develop a blockchain system that is based on the proof provided by this neural network. And we make it private and decentralized at the same time, meaning that no one, not a single party, but the network knows the info that goes in and is able to kind of match keys that are connected with your biometrics to know that this is you. And basically the second thing it does, it makes the storage of data decentralized. There's like the very common problem of honeypot is just gone. That data is stored in a decentralized manner across multiple servers in a trusted computation environment. This is what we do, technologically speaking, to the biometrics provided by FaceTech.
Yeah, fantastic. And we have had FaceTech on the podcast a few times before, and they definitely are involved in our events. And just to underline and remind our listeners, in terms of their liveness, they're really sort of a pioneer and have an ongoing spoof bounty, which is, when it comes to what Humanode's trying to achieve, I feel like it's a pretty perfect pairing personally. So that's great. Humanode just last week, as we're recording this, concluded its first conference. What were some highlights?
Most importantly, I think that most of the lectures there were about the governance, of course, now because there are a lot of ways you can utilize decentralized biometric technology, but governing tools is a very common issue in the networks out there. So we were focused on like one person, one vote, decentralized autonomous organizations, they're called. That's when you're trying to establish a governance in a decentralized network and like give out votes based on biometric authentication rather the amount of tokens or coins of some network you have, which is a common practice.
And then immediately after your conference, you launched the Hack the Sybil hackathon. How is that hackathon going to work, and what are you hoping to see from participants?
This hackathon is like a first gateway for direct search and matching and livenization operations in the decentralized and centralized way for the builders on a blockchain network. So it's like you're able to make any kind of like decentralized applications, DeFi, gamify, it's like games on blockchain, like a lot of services that are like require some kind of Sybil resistance. There are actually a lot of tracks. They begin on the protocol level as well, because basically when we started doing this, the blockchain itself, it just didn't know like how to easily explain. Imagine it's a railway, right? Mm-hmm. And the rails are completely different.
Right.
It's a capital based, it's mining based, hash based. So we had to change the protocol to build a like biometric authentication railway, so to speak, so that it knew what to interact with. And there's also like a track for that. Right now there's a 35K prize pool for guys participating in it, and yeah, we're already seeing like some services as like biometrically authenticated bookstore.
Oh, cool.
Which is this, yes, something like this. And like the economy of the bookstore itself is token based, and like it's all very, very interesting. So,
yeah. That's really fascinating, and I love to hear, like, get a little preview of what you're starting to see there, because yeah, seeing that practical application of an e-retail solution that you're helping protect that's really great in terms of grounding this technology. You mentioned the biometrics based tracks in the hackathon. What sort of criteria are you going to be judging the entries by in this category?
We would say that we always look at how neatly the code is done, but hackathon is in hackathon you should look at just how it works, not about the organization and stuff, because it's a limited venue. You don't have much time.
Yeah.
Although we are like doing it for 2 weeks still, for people that are working constantly, well, that's still not really much time. But basically what we really look at is the level of the application of the code base that we have. We also look at the quality and the speed of how it was done, because you have to not just measure the like the goal that they had and how it works, but also how the work was done itself. And of course, I would say it's quite arbitrary, but we measure the application of the service that is built, right? So how deep was the interaction with the trusted computation environment and obfuscation of identities? Do they do KYC? Are their identities pseudonymous? how does the query of different variables happen, how they're matched against one another. Like a lot of technical criteria exist as well. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot there, but that's also really exciting. I mean, just being able to, I can just imagine some of the breadth of it. I hadn't even thought of a biometric authenticated bookstore until now, and I think that's like just one taste of what could come out of it. And you mentioned all of these additional benefits like pseudonymous identity and whatnot. And so I'm very excited to see what comes out of this. I believe on June 16th, there is a demo day of the hackathon entries. Is that going to be something people can tune into? And if so,
hopefully we'll have some applications running. Actually, some guys are also trying to, they're trying right now to assemble a decentralized exchange even that works solely on like nodes verified by biometrics. And we're looking to it. And I mean, we're going to be deciding on June 16 after the demonstration day whether to prolong or halt the hackathon itself, because sometimes people just start building something really cool, shows up, right?
Yeah.
And they want to get some time for like a higher price pool or something. And weeks, like it would be cool if something of real value is born there, so that like we have sponsors attending this venue, and they're constantly looking at what is being built. So maybe people could just convert directly into projects on top of Humanode. That would be really awesome.
That would be very cool to see. Great. Well,
that's why we're prolonging if it's possible.
Awesome. That would be really cool. Well, stay tuned for that, everybody. And now we're going to have a part 2 of this interview after the results of the hackathon are announced. But in the meantime, how can our listeners learn more about Humanode?
Actually, I suggest starting from learning more about the Sybil resistance and Sybil attacks, right? And why? Well, Web3 is a thing that appeared not so long ago because of the decentralized web, but many foretellers of Web3 said that Web3 without Sybil resistance is not really Web3. It's all still centralized. And I mean, how a Sybil resistant internet will change the way we interact with one another. That's what I would like you to research, not Humanode. Humanode is just a project that is building on that idea. This idea is much bigger than any company. So guys, read into it and build the internet of the future for all of us and save us from corporations, please.
That's the humblest and most hopeful answer I think I've ever had to that final question. So everybody, I'll put some Sybil research notes in the show notes you can click on to learn more about this. And fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Dato. It's really been a pleasure talking with you, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with you once the hackathon winners are announced.
Yeah, thank you once again for having me, Peter. It was a pleasure talking to you as well, and I hope I brought in some new thought around here, and I've done my part. Now it's on you.
You definitely did. Great. And so concludes my interview with Dato Kavazi, co-founder of Humanode. Learn more about the topics we discussed today by visiting humanode.io and check out the links in the show notes. And for everything else biometrics and identity, stay posted to FindBiometrics.com. I would like to thank Dato again for joining me on this episode. Our podcast theme music is by Logomrad. I have been your host, Peter Counter. Thank you for listening to the ID Talk Podcast.